We are the Hollywood.
This is Nevada State Prison. This is the most active investigation any of us has ever been on. This is where the sun don't shine. A place that even with a flashlight...
Can you touch this device again?
You can't see 2 feet in front of your face.
Oh my God, that's clear!
Hollywood paranormal detectives thought we had seen the dark.
Face with like white hair, like Scooby-Doo ghost in that. Ooh.
But the dark is much darker here.
Maybe I would suggest against letting a murder into your body.
Too late.
This is Nevada State Prison. Boom. What happened, guys? What happened is human error. We're all human. We can't be perfect spirits on the other side. We can't all wear corndog shirts and Bigfoot hats. We all make mistakes. I hit the live stream and then I exited the live stream at about the same time. Didn't mean to do it. I wasn't turning my back on you. I'm still here. I'm still strong. And somehow Brian hasn't found the link yet, but you know who has? Mandy Maisie. She's still here. She's made it. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, Mandy. But Mandy, did you see that trailer that just rolled?
So excited. I'm excited for everyone to see the night that we had.
It gives me chills just seeing that.
That was a crazy night.
You think it gives me chills because I was there and we were there and we experienced so much, or do you think it gives everyone chills that watches it?
I mean, I hope.
I hope so. I hope people understand how wild that night was. Brian, where are you? But tonight, don't cry, don't weep. We have the Weeping Willow Paranormal straight from Canada. We have Cassie. I went Irish. Straight from Canada. I don't know why I went Irish for a second. Hello, Cassie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to this already chaotic HPD Live.
Well, thanks for having me. Kindred, can you go back into that old chat and see if you can bring people over? I think there's people still in the other chat waiting.
How do I do that?
I'm not sure, but
What
Kindred...
do I do?
I'll message them.
If we could get a helper, all you helpers help us. Save the show. Save our station. UHF. Bring us back. And he's found it. He crawled from the muck and he's back. Brian. Oh.
I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Could it be the Corndog Shirt? Could it be bad luck?
No, I don't see any signs of trouble.
Getting this Corndog Shirt out of here.
Take it off.
You're gonna deal with
Bad luck.
a Ron Swanson.
You should have
t-shirt.
did hot dogs.
Where is it? My big Ron Swanson t-shirt. That's what you'll do.
That one's better.
All right. You bad luck Corndog Shirt, you. Sorry, everybody. You had to see that.
Let me see if I can.
See, Cassie, I told you we were a very serious, very straightforward, facts-only paranormal show. Hello, everyone. We got so many people saying hi. Oh, my gosh. Can't get back into it. You don't need to get back in. Oh, it must be closed then. Good. So hopefully people will come over, enjoy the show. And let's start. Weeping Willow Paranormal. That is such a cool, unique name. Where did you come up with the name Weeping Willow Paranormal?
Well, willow trees are pretty much my favorite tree next to birches. So I was trying to think of a catchy name for my channel. And since Willow, I have a dog named Willow too. So I was like, Willow is perfect. So that's why Weeping Willow. So
that's great.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
And
plus, it has a lot of meaning too with the parent, with cemeteries and creepy, right? So
yeah, that's really good. How long has Weeping Willow been together? And you're from Canada, right?
I am Southern Ontario.
What's
I'm like literally. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm like literally at the border to Buffalo.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the Canadian paranormal kind of community like?
There's a bunch of us. I guess there was more because I'm kind of newish to the paranormal. I didn't really know investigation was like a thing up until probably like 3 years ago when I realized I used to read like Haunted Ontario books or Haunted Canada books, but I didn't have what's it called, like the travel state or travel channel, or so I didn't really watch Ghost Hunters or anything like that. So I didn't know that existed. So YouTube is really what brought me into it. So now I'm starting to learn more Canadians in our area. So I think we're probably spread out everywhere, but we do have a lot of different like haunted locations and stuff. So yeah.
What would you, to an American, what's the most haunted iconic location of Canada?
Probably the whole city of Niagara-on-the-Lake. So the city was burnt down by you guys, the Americans, during the War.
When were we mad at Canada?
My bad.
When did this happen?
So, during the Battle of 1812, the whole city was burnt down. So, there's a lot of different haunted locations. So, like, at least for Ontario, I'm sure there's other haunted locations across Canada, but the ones I'm most familiar with. And usually, if I'm saying if you need to go to a haunted city, I would probably say like any of like the big cities, like Kingston, Ontario, where there's like Kingston Penitentiary. You can't investigate that place. I wish you could, but like Niagara-on-the-Lake is probably one of the top places I'd recommend for locations because there's so many different ones. So
there are a slew of Canadian ghost hunting shows that I've watched on, I believe, Amazon Prime. Haunted Hospital.
Haunted Hospital,
Haunted 911. And there was trying to remember, there was the girl named Holly Stevens and a gentleman who went to all kinds of haunted places across Canada. And I can't quite remember the name of that one right now. But there are lots of Canadian shows.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like I said, I don't know that. I don't really. What I know is like YouTube and then like Instagram connections and stuff too. So yeah, for TV wise, I don't really know a lot. So,
but I feel like I've seen your name around Instagram for a while now. You guys have been into it for a little bit.
Just over July actually would have been a full year of investigating, and I started the channel back in March. But we didn't start investigating locations until July. And originally it was just myself and my husband. He's 100% skeptic. He is like was just kind of tagging along because I wasn't by myself, and he was doing camera work. And then I'm in school. Or I was in school, sorry, and I met my friend Reese, and she loves creepy things, and I was like, hey, do you want to help me with this episode? Because my husband didn't really want to do it, and or the location, and then she's like, yeah, I'll go with you, and then we kind of just like, it took off from there, and now she's the team member, so, and my husband's going to help out more so here and there, just to help with camera work, so Reese is more out front, but for now, it's just me and Reese mostly.
Oh.
Very cool.
And what was the first time you and Reese teamed up and you knew it had like a good energy?
The Screaming Tunnels episode. It's a haunted location. Actually, the Dead Zone movie from the 80s is Stephen King. It's based on a Stephen King book. It was filmed there, or part of it was filmed there in Screaming Tunnels. So.
I know. There's it's a murder scene in the movie.
Yeah, so that's the tunnel. So there's a lot of different urban legends around it. Actually, we did a revisit. So on my next episode tomorrow is actually going to be a revisit to that tunnel. But yeah, that was our very first location that we went back 3 times to film one episode for it, just because we were getting little pieces of evidence, and then and it just kind of took off from there. But yeah.
Wow. And y'all are going back. How long has it been since you went back to this new time?
So it was probably because we went back because we started like in May. I think we investigated in May, June, and July. We're like the 3 times we were there to investigate, and then we did a photo shoot actually like for the promo. That's where we shot the promotional stuff just because I love that place. Plus it's close to home. And then and then we went back again last week. So that would have been almost a full year of actually investigation, and we had way more equipment this time around, a brand new camera and that kind of thing. So it was
and you can learn a lot in a year as a ghost hunter. You can learn so much. Now you say the most haunted place is right across from Niagara Falls, right?
In Niagara on the Lake, yeah. So it's like down the way a bit.
Now, do they still have all the little like walk through haunted houses and stuff?
Yeah, they have a haunted walking tour there.
But
that's what
I remember as a very small kid went with my parents. We walked over the bridge past Niagara Falls, and there was a Monsters Wax Museum tour, and you went in one curtain, and it looked like in about 30 seconds you came out the next curtain. But I was so terrified. I'm only saying this because my parents are watching, I know, and they'll remember the story too. But my brother went in and came out, and I was, "It's scary," and he's like, "Yeah, don't go." And I was like, "Oh," and I was so scared, and I was just wondering if it's still there. Like
that's in Niagara Falls. I think it is. I feel like it is. Like, that's Clifton Hill. Like it has like nightmares, like a haunted house there. There's like Wax Museum and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's where you would have been. So
my goal was to go back and see what was so scary that I didn't go, and I never walked through it. And my dad couldn't get his money back, and they were kind of mad at me. I think it was $3, but and that was
back then $3 was like $6.
Yeah, but I just wondered if those were still there because I still have to defeat that. Also, thinking back to that, does the falls have anything to do with the haunts? Would you call the falls a haunted place?
I would think so. Actually, that's interesting. My husband is a crane operator, so he was actually on a job that was refabbing the tunnel that goes behind the falls. And I made him do this because I'm sure there's a lot of people who originally built that tunnel died. So I'm like, can you please do an EVP session for me?
Oh my gosh.
So on his lunch break, no one was in the tunnel. Like no one there was there. And he actually caught an EVP in the tunnel.
Oh. What did it say?
So we were hoping to get there, to go there to investigate. Because the Niagara power generation, because Tesla kind of built it back in the day, but it's like $5,000 to go because you have to rent security or get pay for security. You have to have permits and stuff to film. And I'm like we're only just little YouTubers. Come on. I'm like,
oh yeah, everyone wants your money.
So yeah,
that's the downside of all the shows.
Yeah.
Everybody expects big dollars.
Mandy, I know you're a skeleton fan. Look behind her.
I know, I saw that. Tell me about your skeleton.
So her name is Tempe after Joe Bones, but
I
was in school for massage therapy, so it was just I got her for that school.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna just take her home. That's cool.
That's really cool. So, all right. So you haven't ever done it before. Past life, what was the first thing that got you into thinking ghosts might be real? What was the first experience that took you from a skeptic to an investigator? What happened to you?
So I've always been interested in the paranormal ever since I was a kid. I used to like I said, read haunted Ontario books and whatnot, but I didn't necessarily ever have any. I didn't realize they were experiences until recently, within the past 3 years, really, when my eyes kind of got opened up to the whole world of the paranormal, and I realized maybe they were actually ghosts. So that I was experiencing. So as a kid, up since I was very little, that's kind of I guess that's why I always kind of had my interest in it, maybe just the unknown. And then I was originally just going to be I wasn't intending to investigate necessarily or even start a channel. I wanted to investigate a few, after watching YouTube paranormal, for a couple of years, I was like, maybe I could do this, but I won't do YouTube because I don't know how to edit. That's just too big for me. And then my friend Crow, who's actually in the chat now.
Crow.
Yeah, Crow. So he was So he was like, just do YouTube. You can do it. And I was like, I don't know. And then I am like, fine. And then I did it. So I'm like self-taught editor with lots of help from like Cody's helped me, like from New Reality, Crow's helped me, like everyone's so it's a great.
I feel like you don't want a YouTube channel until you catch something, and then you're like, I gotta share it. How do I share it? YouTube. Like, you know,
well, the thing is, like even then, I wasn't even investigating yet. I'm like, I might as well just do it and just put whatever I catch, right? But I wasn't intending it to really be much, really, and it took off. So.
And sometimes people, do you ever feel like someone kind of judges you? Like, well, if you're a purist, why do you have a YouTube channel? Like, well, how else am I going to share our experiences and prove that what we're doing isn't crazy, than visual evidence? And what better way to show you our evidence than through this format of film, it brings you along. So, yeah, what better way to do it than YouTube? So what was your first... What was the first time you grabbed equipment and went out trying to catch that evidence? What was the first place you went?
So Screaming Tunnels, the very one was like Meg with Reese, but the first episodes I actually published were Old Angel Inn in Niagara-on-the-Lake in Prince of Wales, or Prince of Wales in Niagara-on-the-Lake in Old Angel Inn. And then I released Screaming Tunnels. But the very first time, it was Screaming Tunnels, and we had a really interesting experience the very first time we went there. Like the legend has it with Screaming Tunnels that a girl burnt in the tunnel. So there's a lot of different rumors, and nothing has actually been proven what happened. But basically, it's like a girl, her dad set her on fire inside the tunnel, or she ran into a tunnel from a burning house, or like there was a lot of stories. So the legend has it if you light a match at midnight, you blow it out, you'll hear a scream. Hence, Screaming Tunnels. But we never had that experience of the screaming. Mind you, it's a tunnel. It could easily wind can make a screaming noise. And from my experiences there, I really don't think it's a little girl that haunts the tunnel. I think either it's multiple spirits or it's something got brought there from other people, like trying to summon stuff or do whatever. Like, I'm not saying demons are there, but I think there's other stuff there, and I don't really think it's a ghost girl. But yeah.
And you did it. You lit the match.
Yeah, nothing happened. Well, we did. I lit a candle because I like the match. I was like, at least the candle hold. And what was really interesting about the candle, it shrunk, but it didn't waver like the wind because there was no wind in the tunnel, and it just shrunk when Reese asked for it to be blown out, and it just like shrunk. And we're like, it was like little, and we're like, and like there was no wind, anything. But when we just went back, like I don't want to give away the episode for tomorrow. We did did nothing happen. Like the wind, you could tell it was the wind was blowing like the flame. But the first time we went there was no wavering or anything. So,
well, and that's places like that are fun to investigate because with what you do, you can find out what is the right story. Mm-hmm. Like because we have like the Charman Bridge, which is near us, and there's a man was burned, a man's son was burned, a man was in a car accident. Man was in a plane crash. I mean, like, so there's all these different burned man bridge stories. We don't know what's real.
Yeah.
And we think we got it down to a bus driver accident and a burnt bride, I think was what we figured out.
Oh, wow.
But what do you think? What do you think's at the bridge? Do you think the spirits that are there have heard the story now and could be screaming to kind of keep people coming back and gathering the energy of visitors? Or
I mean, that's possible. I'm sure people have heard screams. I don't know if they can debunk it because it's also a train goes over top of the tunnel. So like I don't know about the scream part because I've not like personally we've been investigating 4 times there and we've not heard the scream. But I really do think there's just something there because if you watch the very first episode we did of like, because obviously there was multiple times, I think it was the last time we were there, I was in sensory depth and literally I want to say a skeleton face, but like a face kind of was in my mind's eye was kind of like going like, like, so I don't feel like it was negative energy or anything there. I just really think it's just bad stuff there could be, but when we went back, we didn't really feel anything negative there. But like so I don't know. It was kind of a mix. I can't explain it to tell you the truth.
Huh. Wow. And now would you say that's the one of the most haunted places you've been, or have you been anywhere you think's more haunted than that?
Okay, so top haunted location I've been so far is the Beck House in Petanguishene, Ontario.
Oh,
sorry, I'm joking on spit. Sorry, I swear. It's not COVID or anything.
Grab some water.
Yeah, actually, I'll drink some coffee. Coffee is life.
Revitalize. The Beck House.
The Beck House. That place gave us a three-parter episode three parts because it was so much activity. We caught Class A EVP. We caught I think cat balls went off. We caught Reese heard a disembodied voice we didn't capture. We caught so we have it's called the Paratune. So it's a motion sensor music box that was in a bedroom by itself. The camera we thought was rolling, but it had died. But the static cam actually had caught like the music turning on, and it caught me getting up off the couch to go look to see what the heck happened and get Reese, because Reese had just walked down the stairs, and there's no way Reese could have set it off because it was like in a bedroom.
Yeah.
So that place, Reese had someone follow her home from that location.
Oh man.
A male figure. So that place is I couldn't even sleep in the one bedroom. I'm like, I just could not sleep. So I slept on the love seat, which is like a love seat. So it's small, but I felt like I was being watched all night. Like it was like the most unsettling. It didn't feel negative. It just was so unsettling because there was just so much activity. I had a shadow figure rush me in the kitchen. Like I was in the kitchen and it came it didn't rush at. Well, it kind of did, but it came at me. So that place, I recommend anyone. It's an Airbnb, so you can book it. Yeah, so you can book it. It's called room. You can book room 301 and 302 are like the most haunted rooms. So yeah, that place.
What room were you in?
302. Okay. So we want to actually go back and stay 2 nights, but we want to stay like in room 301 and 302. So just to kind of compare. But yeah, that's the location.
What's the story of the location?
So it was owned by a lumber baron and his family, and he basically built the whole town. So and he died he basically died on falling off a horse into a lake. That's kind of the story goes. So he just died, but this was back in the late 1800s. So yeah, it's a mining town basically, for lumber and stuff. So it just there's a lot and I think the mother to Amelia, that's another thing came through. The mother's name was Amelia, and it came through on the Perilous, which is kind of like an obelisk, but it's an app.
Okay.
So that name came through. That place had so much. So.
Oh wow. That being your most haunted place, what are some places that are on your bucket list, your paranormal wish list?
Okay, so bucket list is Hinsdale House, but that's actually going to be happening next weekend. Or this weekend, sorry.
So lucky.
Yeah, so I'm going with Levy from Jason and Darkness Paranormal. He's meeting me there. So we're doing that. That was on my bucket list for a while. And then Virginia City is another bucket list location. So many locations there. I've grown up loving the whole Westerns things. I used to watch all the old movies and all that. I love that. So the fact that I'm going there is kind of blowing my mind. I would love to go to Waverly. Bobby Mackey's is probably one of the top ones I want to go to. And then I know Mike Owen here was talking about it, but the Sorwell Weed House, I really want to go in Savannah, Georgia. So I believe that's where it is. So
you want to go far from Canada. You want to get out and go.
Yeah. But the thing is, all those locations, Bobby Mackey's it's in Kentucky. It's only 6.5 hours from me because of where I'm located. So it's so the drives, I'm this prime location for all these locations just kind of around me.
I lived in Louisville forever, and the whole thing was Waverly. And then I moved, and then Ghost Adventures happens, and I lived so close to Bobby Mackey's, never knew it was haunted, never stopped, not one ghost story from it until I saw it on a show, and I was like, I lived 7 miles from that place, and had no idea, never investigated it, never went.
Wow.
That's just, so you go to these places, you got all these new spots you want to hit. What are your devices? What equipment do you like to use? What equipment do you not like? And what are some like ideas you have for investigation?
Yeah, so probably my top is probably my camera, because that catches a lot of EVPs for me, more so than my digital recorder. Like I have a Sony, like my gear is behind me, but I have a Sony digital recorder. It's great. It's better than the one I had before, but I really just love my camera. I have a Sony AX53. Great look camera. So it really has really great audio. I absolutely love, okay, so I'm trying to think. My Paratunes, like this little music box, literally is probably my most favorite. It's only ever gone off once at the Beck House, but it's so creepy when it goes off, and it's so like unexplainable, because especially if it's in a room where there's nothing can turn it on or off, or turn it on. That's probably one of my other top favorite pieces of equipment. I'm trying to think what else I use.
What does the sound like? Okay, we have the music box. We have the little casket.
Ooh. Oh, that was worse.
I don't like it.
I love it.
That's so great.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. I also have like some REM pods. They haven't really gone off for me. We did a residential that was actually at my parents' house, because my mom has smelled like cigarette smoke there and had some light swinging and stuff. So I'm like, I'll go in. But I really think I don't think it's actually haunted. I just think family members are passing through and kind of just like popping in, saying hi and leaving. I don't think it's actually haunted. But we debunked the REM pod there. So haven't had that go off properly. I'm trying to think of all my other gear that I use. I'm like drawing a blank, but that Paratune. Oh, I do use the apps quite a bit. The Paralist I use. So it's kind of like the Ovilus, and I just started using the Spirit Talker. I started using. I know, like with the apps, you can't really take them for face value, because it's just random words. But sometimes when they do correlate, it's almost hard to like not.
Yeah.
Like, you almost have to like be like, okay, this is too weird. Especially like when you're asking a name, like Amelia comes through at the Beck House, or like we've had so many different things happen. But yeah, I'm trying to then also one thing I don't like for an app is the Necrophonic, because I find that when you let it go, it sounds like EVP. So when you're listening back to the review footage, you're thinking you're hearing an EVP, but it's not. So that's why I don't really like using it.
Now, when all the apps first hit, a lot of them were, if you read the description, were fake. And I know some people were trying to make real ones to actually help the community out. And so people weren't sure what's fake, what's real. I've never used apps because I heard it first. I think Necrophonic was the one I heard that I know people like it, but I heard it has voices in it. It uses your Siri to almost answer questions for you.
Yeah. I didn't realize that part. I just know that I was like, I did a collab with somebody, and he used it. And then, so when I'm reading my footage, I'm like, oh, that's EVP. But then I realized, I listened it back and I'm like, wait, no, that's Necrophonic. So I just never have used it.
Anyone in the comments, if you use Necrophonic, say yes or say that you like it. But you use Necrophonic. Mandy Maisie, when have you used Necrophonic?
I use Necrophonic, not like on our true investigations, but I'll open it up every now and then. And
one thing I heard,
you got to be careful with it. But
record your words. So if I say lion, tiger, it might say zoo. You know what I mean? I've heard it record your words and tries to give you what you want to hear. But then I heard Necrophonic changed it and took that out, and then you never know.
The one I do like is called The Miracle Box by Steve Huff, the creator of the Portal. He created, essentially, he spent like the last 10 years making this app that operates like a portal. So it's only a few dollars, and I really like it. I've gotten some, like, you can set the specific tone of voice and what you want to come through, and we'll set it to female, and then I'll have a male just popping in every now and then. So I've had good responses with it.
Oh, here's something. For some reason, Necrophonic app has a cold line to record. When you get the app, you have the option to give permission to record. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
They might steal your stuff. I've never actually used it. I think I might have downloaded it when I first heard about it, and then was watching videos about it, and people didn't like it.
Yeah.
So other than Reese and your, did you say husband or fiance? I don't know if I don't want to get it wrong. Your husband.
Yeah.
Who else have you gotten to investigate with, and who are some people you want to investigate with?
Yeah, so I've did a collab with he's a little YouTube channel on based in Ontario. His name is Josh Survival Life. He does some like fun like exploring kind of stuff.
Cool.
But I've that's my first collab that I ever did. But then I've going to be doing more collabs coming up in the future. So obviously Levy, and he's in chat. So Chasing the Darkness. That's a Hinsdale house on the weekend. I booked it in December, and it's so like freaking me out that it's so close. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And then I also have another Canadian team called Paranormal XP. They are a new channel, but they've been investigating for I believe like 5 years already, and they're awesome. So we're actually going back. I think they've investigated the Old Angel Inn, and I've obviously been there. So we're doing a collab at the same. Like we're doing at the Old Angel Inn in the same room, like the general quarters, which we had some really interesting. I had interesting experience there with my husband. So
the Old Angel Inn, and that's in Canada.
Yeah, in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So
okay.
That was actually burnt down. So the story behind Old Angel Inn was that there was a captain called it's Captain Swayze, like Colin Swayze, but everyone's like Patrick Swayze. But anyways. So
I kept saying Herbie Hancock when it was John Hancock.
Captain Colin Swayze, he was supposed to meet like his girl or whatever at the inn, and
is this girl named Baby?
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
Oh
I'm
my gosh,
sorry.
I'm
sorry.
But then, so American soldiers found him, so he had to retreat into the inn. So he went into the basement, and he hid in barrels, like wine barrels or whiskey barrels or whatever. And the Americans stabbed him to death with their bayonets in the
like
barrel.
Through the barrels?
Like, yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's how he died. So he haunts the inn. And so there's like a thing. So we have
he haunts the inn, and his ghost drinks water while it all comes out.
Wine.
Wine. I'm sorry. He drinks the
like it reminds me of like Harry Potter, but anyways. So there's legends that have it like because they have to have a British, like the British flag up with the Canadian, and they say if you take down the British flag, then things start happening more inside the inn. So it's really interesting. Also, the Old Angel Inn, I believe, was part of the Underground Railroad too. So there is said to be a slave that haunts the basement too. That place is really cool. But so it burnt down during the War of 1812. Like I said, because the whole Niagara-on-the-Lake got burnt down to the ground. But the foundation is original from 1793 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So that's original. And then they rebuilt it in, I believe, 1815. So it's still really old. So it's actually a pub, which has really good food, and then the inn is above it. So.
Whoa. That's great. I want to go to Canada so bad. I want to spend some time on the Niagara. Now Canada is known for cryptids, right?
Well, like Bigfoot, right? And like is that what you mean?
Bigfoots,
and
a lot of the Eskimos have a Bigfoot word that I can't remember right now.
Whoa, I'm not sure.
It's lost. It's lost in there. He's right here. Bigfoot.
We also have a version of, I can't think of it now, of like the Loch Ness Monster too. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Ogopogo?
Yeah. Yes.
Ogopogo? Like now, didn't they put they have a big raft in the lake there now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Is that the one? They put a big floating dinosaur in the lake of the Ogopogo, and it's gigantic. It's like 20 foot long with the heads like plesiosaur. And it's just always in the lake, which is phenomenal.
Gave Pogo a partner.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm reading some chats. So coming up, the big event that we're all gonna party at, PEX.
Yeah.
How did you find PEX? What happened to get? What was it like getting invited, and what are you looking forward to?
So I was at the last event last year. I had already been investigating before, so I basically knew a lot of the. I was friends with a lot of the channels, right? Like with Homicide and New Reality and Levy and stuff were already guests there. So I basically was just gonna go see my friends. It was gonna be super fun. So it was a blast last year in Tahoe. And then when I found out there was to be Virginia City this year, and now that my channel is kind of making some like it's getting a little bit bigger, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll be able to go. So I just asked, and they were like, sure. So I was like, okay. That's basically how it went. So,
what was last year's event? Like, tell us some details, and what can we expect coming into PEX?
Yeah, I mean, this year is going to be completely different than last year, just from the amount of like locations we're doing compared to last year. But last year was really interesting because it was just the Biltmore. We were able to investigate the whole place. Like we had 2 nights, and then Patty Negri did the seance the Saturday night. That was really cool. There was a lot of people. It was very interesting because when we were doing the seance, it literally felt like there was like a swirl of energy around us, and I kept feeling like I was getting touched in the back. It was so weird. But then
like you were being physically on your back.
Like yeah, and then at one point where I actually talked to Patty about this, but during the seance, I think when she was trying to ground everything, I literally felt like my body was like folding in half, and I couldn't control it. It was really weird, but it was really cool, but very weird. But we basically just split up into teams. I'm not sure how they'll do it this year, but last year they kind of did teams and did different parts of the hotel. But now we have different locations, so it's going to be similar in that way. But we'll be able to branch off and work with other people and just the guests that are going. And yeah.
How many guests would you say they had last year?
I want to say up to 100, I think. Maybe like between... Yeah, like Saturday night was the biggest because a lot of random people just kind of came off the streets for the second night. The first night was a lot smaller. I want to say maybe 50 on the top side, 40, 50. But it was really, really good.
Wow, that's really great. Now, Mandy, you've recently been to a convention where Patty did a seance at that theater.
Yeah.
You said something very similar to that, right? When she was grounding stuff, how it sort of changed.
Everything was like supercharged. Everything was supercharged. Everybody was having experiences. It's like everything's just amplified when she runs the seance. She's got so much power. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait because we've worked with Patty before. And she opened the veil for us, and I didn't realize what was happening. And next thing I know, I'm like, I keep hearing stories in my head, and I kept telling these stories, and I would be like, it's a young girl, and Patty would be like, with a yellow beret, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm thinking yellow beret. Like, she was finishing my sentences, and she was like telling me what I was thinking, and it was insane, awesome, amazing. She's amazing. So excited to get to work with Patty again. I cannot wait for that. And Virginia City, Mandy, again, you just went to Virginia City.
I've been there way too many times.
How many times have you been?
I'm actually going next weekend.
You're going back to, what is this next weekend for?
I'm investigating Mackey Mansion for the second time.
Yeah. Who was that with?
Jade.
Just you and Jade?
And Danielle and Chalo, my other.
Oh, your Star of India crew.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were going to do all that.
I'm going again. I love Virginia City. Like, you could go there a million times and still not experience it all.
And Cassie, have you ever been to Virginia City?
Nope. Like, I'm not wait.
You're gonna love it.
Mandy, fill her in a little bit about what to expect from this town. I've never been. Brian, have you ever been?
Nope.
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 Everything's haunted. So you can feel it. Like when you're driving up the hill to it, you can just kind of feel that change in the energy. Everything's like basically original, looks original to the time period. It's just a really cool place. Like it's like a little piece of history that's like nestled off into the mountain.
Is it a big town?
No, it's like a mile stretch, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just like a mile long, and it's just a shit ton of shops and haunted places the whole way down.
Oh,
And that's
it. And like a Burger King, probably. And there's
no.
There's
no
nothing?
fast food. No fast
Oh,
food.
wow.
It's all like mom and pop restaurants.
I love that.
Oh,
Oh, I
cool.
love
Yeah.
that so much. That
Yeah.
almost kills. Is it Tonopah, where you crest the mountain and there's a Carl's Jr.
Yeah,
And
not here.
and you're like, oh.
But basically everything's haunted. So I mean, the stores are haunted. It's cool.
Now we're doing. What all are we getting to do? Mackey Mansion, Washoe Club.
Yeah.
What's that other place? The
Piper's Opera House,
Opera House.
Silver
That place
Queen.
is really cool.
Silver Queen is where everyone's staying, I guess. And we're
Yeah, and then we're
investigating
investigating it too. Yeah.
there. And then was there one more place where we're having the pizza party and drink competition?
The Depot, something Depot. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Does that
The
sound
train
right?
Depot.
Train Depot,
I
maybe?
think so. Yeah, and I think there's more.
was told there
Or
would
will
be
be
pizza.
more eventually.
There's
Hold
gonna
on,
be
that's
pizza.
so true, Joe. So after like a certain time period, everything shuts down. So if you want food, you have to like leave town.
Oh.
So
Steve,
bring
that's
food.
what- Greatly.
I have to eat
We
at
can't-
all times.
After hours, what are we gonna do?
We'll sleep. We'll take some pizza back to our room and we won't tell anybody.
You have to starve. Or drink alcohol, so the bars stay open really late.
Bring a
That's what my
cooler.
husband wants. He's like, he wants all this, goes to all the saloons or whatever.
Now there's going to be a drink competition where you get to design the Weeping Willow drink. Have you made any plans for that?
I was thinking with the Angry Canadian, which is basically like a whiskey sour, but with maple syrup. But I don't know if they'll have maple syrup there. So at least real maple syrup.
Bring your own and just put
I know,
like,
like bring,
Weeping
yeah.
Willow's secret ingredient and just like add it.
Maple
let me add-
syrup across the international border. That could be trouble.
I know. I was
Oh,
gonna say. I feel like that
I was
might
like-
be violating something.
real Canadian maple leaf syrup. That would be nice.
well, I mean, oh yeah, I don't know.
I never do this. This sounds weird. What is that a window behind you?
Yeah,
Behind the
yeah.
skeleton?
Yeah, there's
Right
like
here?
windows.
Do you have any pets or anything in your room?
This room? No, I have a cat and 2 dogs, but they're all in the main house.
Well, the curtain behind the skeleton just moved a little bit.
The window. I have a fan going, and I have windows open, so it could just be the
It
breeze.
looked like it did. It like turned once, or maybe I'm crazy.
Oh. Mm. I mean,
Sorry.
my house has things that
Sorry.
pass through, so I don't know.
Did anybody else see that? It was like if you
I
see
wasn't
the
paying
skeleton, you see something red on the window. It was on the right. If you follow that little line, it sort of. It was like right by this. You can't see where my mouse is, but it's right there. It looked like the curtain moved. And we've caught EVPs on our show before, and we've had some things happen. So I just wasn't sure if something was happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that being said, of
Yeah,
all
those
your
things-
investigation,
Those
Those
only
will
happen.
happen.
Oh,
when Brian misses is when all the cool stuff happens. That being said, would you say you ever get scared during an investigation, or do you think you're past that?
I guess I get scared. I get startled
Yeah.
or unsettled, but I've never actually gotten scared. Like at the screening tunnels again, I keep going back to that place. But at one point, recent, I had walked down. We were walking down the tunnels the first time we were there, or like the first episode. We were there and we were walking down and we kind of just like looked at each other and I saw Reese's face like shift or something. And she just looked at me and we both just started bolting it down the tunnel and we didn't even know why. We're like, I left it in the video. I'm like, why are we running? Like, we didn't even know why.
Y'all ran into the tunnel or away?
Out. Like, we were in the middle of the tunnel and we just bolted out, but we went back in, but we were just like, what the heck? But it was more like a startled because like we just didn't know what was going on. We're just like, it was like our body was like, oh, I don't know, and let's get out. So,
that's like maybe you both were running because the other one was running. And
it might have been that too, but
we both twitched and both started running. So I just
so like it was what made me run mostly was just because of her change in her face. It looked like I don't know, I can't explain it. So that's why we both bolted. But and then probably Screen Tunnels was probably the most unsettling. I mean, I've been startled like at the Old Angel Inn. We had like a white mist come around the corner of the bathroom, and we weren't recording because I was like a newbie. I'm like, now I know to leave cameras rolling at all times. So we were just like sitting because the pub was really loud, so we didn't want to record because there's just been way too many like noise contamination. So we were just sitting on the bed watching TV, whatever, and all of a sudden I saw like a white mist come out of the bathroom, and I kind of like or misty figure, and I just jolted, and my husband shook the bed, and he's like, "What?" And I was like, "There was just a figure, like a misty figure." That happened, and then the Old Angel Inn, or not Old Angel Inn, sorry, the back house when the shadow figure kind of rushed me in the kitchen. I had like a kettle in my hand, and I had to like stop mid pour because I was like, "What the heck?" So I mean, I've been startled, but not scared.
I definitely get scared, and I know it's not the cool thing to say when you investigate, but I think it also means you're in there and you're vulnerable. You're letting your guard down and you're letting it happen. Mandy, do you think the spirits could have like just subconsciously told them to run or tried to startle them? Is that something?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I always think like your body is like your biggest tool, right? So like your body's going to let you know something before you even know it. So if you're on the way out, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Would you say that those are your most terrifying moments you had? Or if you ever had, it's almost more terrifying to get a direct response that's very clear, which means you're talking to something. If you had a more terrifying moment than the run?
Not really. I mean, the Paratunes going off in the bedroom by itself, and I was alone because Reese had just gone down the stairs. And then what was weird about that is she heard a disembodied voice in the stairwell. And it sounded almost like a mother because it said like hurry. It was really weird, but I had heard, or the Paratunes had gone off. So it was really interesting. And I yelled out out the door, and I'm like, Reese, I thought she had just left. Like, right, she had just left, but I thought she would have heard me, but she didn't. So, and then I sat back down, and then when Maurice came back into the room, it went off again. And then we know it's not connected to like her coming, but it was almost like it was just someone saying like, we're here. But like, we've not heard any really EVPs. I've heard a few EVPs with my own ears, but I mostly hear it on playback. So I don't, in the moment, we just like we don't think anything of like we had like with the Perilous. We had it at the Beck house. We had it say east, and I just kind of brushed it off. But then that's when we actually caught our classic EVP during playback, and it said which way, and then it said east.
Oh.
So like I'm getting goosebumps and thinking about.
I know, I just got chills.
Yeah. So
see, it's almost like you have so many different ways. Like through a recorder, I feel is different than off your camera, and off your camera is different than being there because you'll hear stuff being there and not catch it. But then like Mandy being a medium is so finely tuned, she'll hear stuff and I'll go back on video and I'll find what she heard and I'll find a sound. It just happened on Nevada State Prison where she says, I think I heard the name George, and I go back and listen and I turn up my speakers and there's a George, like I could hear the chop chop in the moisture of the lips from beyond the grave, like I could hear it. Sort of like it's so many different ways to get evidence and to like hear them talk, and that's so scary. I think the most scared I have ever gotten is reviewing evidence of myself and hearing something like say like we're watching you or we're with you, and I'm like, oh my god, I was alone and that was so clear and it was picked up on the camera and I didn't hear it in the moment. Like I think that's the most terrifying. So in your future you got PEX. In your future you got a growing YouTube channel. In your future you're going to with Kindred Paranormal to where was
Chasing
it?
the Darkness.
Sorry, Chasing the Darkness.
Yeah.
To a new place you just mentioned. I'm sorry.
Hinsdale House.
Hinsdale House, dream come true. What are some more future plans for Weeping Willow? What are your goals?
So we want to go to the Beck House. So hopefully we're going to try to get the Beck House in this year before we finish out the year. Because I'm hoping, because it's about 3-hour drive. So it's still a bit of a drive. So I kind of have to like book off a whole weekend.
Someone just said the skeleton moved.
Oh. Who said that? Oh, okay.
Baby Yoda said that. And you know Baby Yoda doesn't lie.
I mean,
your fan is on.
I mean, live investigation right now. Bust out a recorder.
No, you don't want to know what's in your house. You want to just say, leave me alone. I got to sleep.
My husband doesn't want me to, because I was testing out the sensory depth with the spirit box in my house just because I hadn't tried it. This was like very beginning. And I literally heard, and then I heard, we want you to believe came through the spirit box, like sensory depth. And I went, okay. And that was the last time I did anything. Because we have things that pass through.
I can't change batteries in the house. I can't turn things on to see if the batteries start. I have to come out to the guest house. I can't. No equipment can go in the house, be turned on, see if it's even working. All has to be done back here.
Yeah.
No ghosts.
Yeah.
But then Mandy says my house has all these ghosts. So.
Shit, you guys are better than me. I test all my equipment in my house. Like, this is like my testing ground. Like, all right, everyone come on out.
She's doing it right now. She has all of her equipment on.
It's just I have kids. I have 5 kids, so.
For sure.
5 kids.
Yeah.
I have 2. Congratulations. Kids are the best.
Thanks, yeah. So I just rather keep my house, because I already have things that kind of pass through here. I've only ever seen them, but yeah.
Now I'm watching the skeleton. So I'm sorry, you're going back to the Beck House.
Oh yeah, Beck House. So like for this year, basically, like the big locations are Hinsdale, Pex, and then the Beck House. Hopefully, if I can get booked in. But next year, I'm hoping to do a little bit more traveling. So there's actually a place called Greystone Manor. I believe ghost hunters have been there, but it's very close to where I live. I think it's under an hour over the border. So it's pretty close. Bobby Mackey's. I really hope, and I hope to get to Florida actually, because I know Kindred is in Florida, but also War Party. So I'd love to connect.
Florida's where it's at right now.
We just had War Party on too.
Yeah, I really hope to connect with them down there. Like I would love to go there. My parents have a timeshare in Kissimmee, so it would probably be easy-ish to get down there compared to other locations. So definitely, those are like kind of like bucket list things. So I'm hoping that can happen this year or next year, I should say. So
very cool. So for anyone watching, where should we keep our eye? Is most of your activity going to be on your YouTube, your Instagram? Are you going to TikTok? What's the future spot?
I have TikTok, but I rarely. It's mostly
we tagged you. We tagged you today on your TikTok.
Oh, did you? So I have it, but I rarely use it. I mostly just do the advertise stuff or like post some clips, but I really haven't done much on it. Mostly Instagram and YouTube. So I try to post on YouTube every other week. We had a bit of a slowdown just because I got COVID for the 3rd time. So
I saw that video. I felt so bad.
Yeah. So I've had
January. Oh my god.
Yeah. So that like slowed me down. So we had a little bit of blips. I just put live streams in there to kind of as filler. We do like to post every other week on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's generally where like I mostly post stuff, and then Instagram I will post things too, just to keep people updated and that type of thing. So
all right. Well, thank you for coming. This was really awesome. Other than me screwing up the opening, it seems like everybody made it in here and everyone got chatting. I'm so glad. We cannot wait to see you at PEX. That's going to be so fun. We're all going to have so much fun together. And good luck to everything you're doing. And we cannot wait to investigate with you in Virginia City.
I'm excited too. Thank you for having me.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
How great. What a great person. Everyone we've met
awesome.
that is going to be in Virginia City. If you haven't got your tickets already, people should go out and grab those tickets. Because every team we've interviewed is just full of professionals, and it's just going to be everyone there. It's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to get a great investigation no matter who you're with. Thank you everybody for staying on. Make sure you click that like button. You hit that subscribe. Thank you to Patreons for making this program be paid for so we can bring you this show. This is episode 32. 32 weeks in a row, you guys. We've been talking ghost hunting with your favorite ghost hunters from around the world. And I'm so tired. So happy. Anything else from you guys?
Just good night, Parafam. Love you
Good night,
guys.
Parafam from
awesome.
the man. What was that?
Say good
Brian?
Whatever you said.
What, Brian?
I said, say good night, Stephen.
Oh, good night, Stephen.